First Contact Crisis. The Confederation survey vessel Horizon Seeker dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its sensors immediately cataloging the planets, moons, and asteroid fields with cold efficiency. Captain Selavor, a veteran of 17 first contact missions, stood on the command deck, her scaled skin reflecting blue light from the holographic displays. "Analysis complete, Captain," reported Science Officer Krell. "Third planet shows extensive civilization. Technology level, pre-interstellar but advanced. Atmosphere composition indicates compatible biology with Confederation standards." Sela nodded, her six-fingered hand tapping thoughtfully against her chin. "Another perfect integration candidate. Set course for standard observation orbit and deploy stealth satellites. Let's learn about them before making contact." For 3 weeks, the Horizon Seeker monitored Earth's communications, studied its governments, and assessed its technological capabilities. What they found was surprising. A species divided by borders and ideologies, yet remarkably advanced in many scientific fields despite their isolation. "They're on the verge of cracking gravitational manipulation," Krell noted with surprise as he reviewed data from a research facility in Switzerland. "Perhaps 2 decades from achieving independent interstellar capability." Captain Vor frowned. "Too close. The Directorate prefers at least a century gap. We'll need to accelerate the integration timeline." The Confederation had a standard procedure for worlds like Earth: make peaceful contact, offer technological and medical advancements, establish a presence, and gradually integrate the planet into their economic system. Over centuries, they had perfected the approach. No pre-interstellar civilization had ever resisted the gentle embrace of the Confederation. The first transmission to Earth was sent on a Tuesday morning, simultaneously broadcast on all major human communication frequencies. "People of Earth, we bring greetings from the Galactic Confederation, a peaceful alliance of 37 spacefaring species. We come with friendship and knowledge to share." The response was immediate and chaotic. Earth's government scrambled to form a unified response team. Within hours, a hastily assembled United Nations Special Committee for Extraterrestrial Contact responded, inviting the visitors to land at a neutral location in New Zealand. Captain Vor led the delegation personally, a team of 6 Confederation representatives from different species. Their shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, creating a spectacular light show for the thousands gathered to witness humanity's first official contact with extraterrestrial life. Dr. Elena Reyes, Earth's lead diplomat and exobiologist, stepped forward to greet the aliens as they emerged from their craft. Her voice was steady despite the historic gravity of the moment. "On behalf of all humanity, welcome to Earth. We are honored by your presence and eager to establish peaceful relations." Captain Vor performed the Confederation greeting gesture, 2 arms extended with palms upward. "The honor is ours, Dr. Reyes. Your world shows great promise. We look forward to sharing the benefits of Confederation membership with you." The initial meetings went smoothly. The aliens shared limited medical technology, curing several previously untreatable human diseases as a gesture of goodwill. Earth offered cultural exchanges, art, music, and historical records. For 3 days, the world celebrated the dawn of a new era. Then came the surveillance discovery. Dr. Amara Okafor, a cybersecurity specialist assigned to monitor the aliens' communications equipment, detected unusual signals emanating from what had been described as cultural artifacts given to various world leaders. "They're gathering data," she reported to the Security Council. "These aren't gifts. They're sophisticated surveillance devices. They're mapping our defense systems, power grids, and communication networks without our consent." When confronted, Captain Vor seemed genuinely surprised by the humans' objection. "This is standard procedure," she explained. "We must assess compatibility for integration. The data benefits both parties. Your concerns are unnecessary." Dr. Reyes remained diplomatic but firm. "On Earth, consent is paramount. We request all surveillance activities cease immediately while we review your integration proposal." The Confederation representatives exchanged glances, communicating silently through neural implants. They hadn't expected resistance at this stage. Captain Vore nodded. As you wish. We will provide the full integration proposal for your review. The document arrived the next day, a 1,000-page treaty outlining Earth's admission to the Confederation. Teams of legal experts, scientists, and diplomats worked around the clock to analyze its contents. Dr. Kai Chen, international law specialist, identified the concerning patterns first. It's elegant in its construction, he told the Security Council. Each benefit comes with obligations that effectively transfer authority to Confederation oversight committees. They get resource extraction rights on Earth and throughout our solar system. Our military would be absorbed into their defense force. Our educational systems would be harmonized with Confederation standards. General Maya Santos leaned forward. It's colonization by contract. In the diplomatic hall the next day, Dr. Rice delivered Earth's response. While we appreciate the Confederation's offer, we find many terms unacceptable. Earth desires friendship, not surrendered sovereignty. We propose alternative terms for a mutually beneficial relationship. Captain Vore's expression remained neutral, but her scales darkened slightly. A physiological sign of surprise the human observers had been briefed to recognize. These terms are standard for all new Confederation members, she replied. They ensure smooth integration and mutual prosperity. Perhaps you misunderstand the benefits. We understand perfectly, General Santos interrupted. We simply decline those particular terms. For the first time, in 17 first contact missions, Captain Vore faced outright rejection. No pre-interstellar civilization had ever analyzed the integration treaty so thoroughly or objected to its fundamental structure. I will consult with the Directorate, she said finally. Perhaps accommodations can be made for your unique situation. As the Confederation delegation returned to their ship for consultations, Earth's governments began preparations. Military forces worldwide were placed on alert. Scientists accelerated research into technologies glimpsed from the alien visitors. Aboard the Horizon Seeker, Captain Vore received new instructions from the Confederation Directorate. Standard Protocol 17 authorized. Preliminary integration force dispatched. Arrival in 30 Earth days. Maintain diplomatic engagement until reinforcements arrive. Unknown to the Confederation, their communications had been intercepted by Earth's signals intelligence. Dr. Rice received the decrypted message within hours. We have 1 month, she told the emergency session of the United Nations. Either we convince them to accept a true partnership, or we prepare to defend our independence. The world united with unprecedented speed. Ancient enemies shared military resources and scientific knowledge. Every research lab focused on reverse engineering alien technology, glimpsed during the brief contact period. At a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. James Wu made the breakthrough that would change everything. Studying energy readings from the Confederation shuttle, his team developed a prototype shield generator that could theoretically protect against the visitors' weapons. It's based on principles they don't appear to use, he explained to military leaders. Instead of deflecting energy, it shifts the targeted matter partially out of phase with standard spacetime. Our tests suggest their energy weapons would pass through without affecting the protected object. Captain Vore, meanwhile, continued diplomatic meetings, unaware of humanity's feverish preparations. Her reports to the Directorate noted human stubbornness, but predicted eventual capitulation when faced with superior technology and overwhelming numbers. Then came the reconnaissance era that would alter the course of events. A Confederation scout ship, conducting a standard survey of Earth's moon, detected unusual energy signatures from a hidden human facility. The base, a cooperative scientific outpost established years earlier, was testing Dr. Wu's phase shield technology. The scout ship attempted a targeted scan but was immediately detected. Earth's lunar defenses, hastily upgraded with reverse-engineered alien technology, locked onto the vessel. What followed wasn't an attack, but rather a demonstration. The facility activated its shield just as the scout fired a low-power scan beam. The beam passed harmlessly through the facility, confirming Dr. Wu's theory. The scout quickly retreated to report this unexpected development to Captain Vore. "Impossible," she whispered, reviewing the data. "They've developed phase shift technology independently." She turned to her science officer. "How many of our weapons systems rely on energy-based targeting?" "All of them," Krell replied, mandibles clicking nervously. "The integration force is equipped exclusively with standard energy weaponry." Captain Vore stared at the holographic display showing Earth rotating slowly below them. "The Directorate must be informed immediately. This changes everything." Negotiation and revelation. The Confederation Integration Force arrived precisely on schedule, 27 vessels dropping out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Admiral Jen Torg, veteran of a dozen integration campaigns, commanded from the flagship Inevitable Progress. His species, the Verax, were known throughout the galaxy for their strategic brilliance and unwavering dedication to Confederation expansion. "Report on the primitive resistance," he ordered as soon as communications established with the Horizon Seeker. Captain Vore's holographic image flickered before him. "Admiral, I recommend caution. The humans have demonstrated technological capabilities beyond their expected development stage. Most significantly, they appear to have functional phase-shift defensive systems." Admiral Torg's ridge of sensory spine stiffened. "Impossible. That technology is theoretical even for our top research divisions." "Nevertheless, we have confirmed readings," Captain Vore replied. "They've also significantly enhanced their orbital defense systems using principles reverse-engineered from our contact shuttle." The Admiral digested this information, adjusting his strategy. "Deploy the fleet in defensive configuration. Launch diplomatic shuttles. Let's see if a more impressive show of force encourages cooperation." On Earth, the arrival of the Confederation fleet triggered emergency protocols worldwide. Military forces moved to high alert, but there was no panic. Humanity had spent the past month preparing for this moment. The diplomatic compound in New Zealand once again received Confederation representatives, this time led by Admiral Torg himself. His imposing figure, 3 meters tall with iridescent body armor that seemed fused to his exoskeleton, was designed to intimidate. Dr. Rice led the Earth delegation, now expanded to include General Santos, Dr. Wu, and representatives from every major world power. They sat calmly as Admiral Torg presented the Confederation's final integration offer. "Your species shows remarkable potential," the Admiral began, his translator converting his clicking speech into smooth English. "The Directorate has authorized exceptional concessions. You may maintain limited autonomy for 50 standard years, rather than the usual immediate integration. Your military may exist as a subdivision of our defense forces rather than complete absorption. These are unprecedented accommodations." Dr. Rice listened politely. When the Admiral finished, she responded with equal composure. "Admiral Torg, we appreciate the Confederation's revised offer. However, Earth still cannot accept these terms. We seek equal partnership, not phased colonization. We will share knowledge and resources, but we will not surrender sovereignty over our planet or solar system." The Admiral's sensory spines vibrated with irritation. "You misunderstand your position. These terms are not optional. The Confederation has brought 37 species into prosperity through this process. Your resistance is both irrational and futile." General Santos leaned forward. "Is it futile? Your weapon systems rely exclusively on energy-based targeting. Our phase-shift technology renders them largely ineffective." A flicker of unease passed across the Admiral's features. "A primitive version, perhaps, but we've tested it against your own scout vessel's sensors," Dr. Wu interrupted. The results were conclusive. For the first time in his long career, Admiral Torg faced a pre-interstellar species that could potentially withstand standard integration protocols. This was not merely unexpected, it was unprecedented. Unknown to both delegations, Another drama was unfolding aboard the Inevitable Progress. Junior Communications Officer Trill, a member of the empathic Novan species, had been monitoring the diplomatic exchange. The Novans were among the last species integrated into the Confederation, and unlike most, they remembered their pre-integration history. Trill had accessed records of Earth's communications, studied their art, literature, and philosophy. What she found resonated with her people's nearly forgotten past. With trembling hands, she downloaded classified Confederation documents detailing the true purpose of integration, resource extraction, and cultural assimilation. Using an untraceable communication protocol, she transmitted the files to Earth. The information arrived in the middle of the diplomatic standoff. Dr. Rice received a silent alert on her secure device. As Admiral Torg continued explaining the benefits of integration, she quickly reviewed the leaked documents. "Admiral," she interrupted, "perhaps we should discuss Directive 847.3 regarding resource categorization of integrated worlds." The Admiral froze. "That directive is classified Confederation information." "Yes," Dr. Rice replied calmly, "as is the resource assessment of Earth that categorizes our planet as exceptionally valuable due to our biodiversity and mineral deposits, or the cultural assimilation timeline that projects the elimination of 60% of human languages within 3 generations of integration." A tense silence filled the room. The Admiral's translator temporarily deactivated as he communicated with his ship in his native language. In that moment, Dr. Wu received confirmation from orbital sensors. The Confederation fleet had shifted to attack formation. "They're preparing to demonstrate their firepower," he whispered to General Santos, who nodded grimly. When the Admiral's translator reactivated, his tone had changed. "Your unauthorized access to Confederation directives is concerning. However, I am authorized to negotiate modifications to certain terms." Before we continue, General Santos interrupted, "You should know that we've deployed our phase shift technology to shield major population centers and critical infrastructure. Additionally, we've developed countermeasures based on principles your weapons don't utilize." On cue, Earth's orbital platforms activated, surrounding the planet with a shimmering field that rippled like water in sunlight. "A planetary shield is beyond your technological capability," the Admiral stated, though uncertainty had crept into his voice. "6 weeks ago, perhaps," Dr. Wu replied. "Your presence accelerated our development timeline considerably. The shield is temporary and power-intensive, but sufficient for our needs." What the humans didn't reveal was that the shield was partially illusory, a massive projection combined with limited functional capacity. It wouldn't withstand sustained attack, but the Confederation didn't know that. Dr. Rice seized the moment of uncertainty. "Admiral, we propose an alternative arrangement. Earth joins the Confederation as a sovereign associate member. We maintain independence while establishing mutual defense, trade, and cultural exchange protocols. We share our phase shift technology and other innovations in exchange for appropriate Confederation advancements." "Such an arrangement has no precedent," the Admiral objected. "Then let Earth be the precedent," Dr. Rice countered. "Your standard integration model has served the Confederation for millennia, but every system must evolve or stagnate. Perhaps it's time for the Confederation to evolve as well." The negotiations continued for days. On the Confederation flagship, debates raged among the command staff. Some advocated immediate military action to force compliance. Others, including Captain Vore, argued that humanity's unexpected technological leaps made them more valuable as partners than as subjugated members. Meanwhile, Communications Officer Trill continued secretly providing Earth with information, risking her career and possibly her life. Something about human resistance to assimilation spoke to a deep cultural memory within her species, a time before they had surrendered their uniqueness to become merely another Confederation world. On the 7th day, Admiral Torg presented the Directorate's decision. Earth would be granted a status never before offered in Confederation history, sovereign associate member. They would maintain independence while joining the galactic community, with mutual defense agreements and cultural exchange programs replacing the standard integration protocol. The Directorate recognizes Earth's unique situation, the Admiral stated formally. Your species has demonstrated capabilities and determination that merit special consideration. What went unsaid was that the Confederation had calculated the cost of forcing Earth's compliance and found it unacceptably high. A prolonged conflict with an innovative species using unfamiliar technology presented too many unknowns. As the treaty was formalized, Dr. Rice approached Communications Officer Trill, who had been reassigned to the diplomatic team. Your people were once like us, weren't they? Dr. Rice asked quietly. Trill's large, expressive eyes revealed her surprise. How did you know? The information you sent contained patterns, subtle changes in Confederation protocols after each integration. Your people were the last to join before those changes, the last to resist, even briefly. Trill nodded slightly. We remember what we once were. Most species forget after a few generations of Confederation education. Perhaps humans will help us remember more fully. The treaty signing ceremony took place on neutral ground, a platform constructed in Earth orbit where representatives from humanity and the Confederation formalized the unprecedented agreement. As Admiral Torg and Dr. Rice applied their signatures, observers from both sides recognized the historic significance of the moment. This wasn't merely first contact between Earth and the galaxy. It was the beginning of a fundamental shift in how the Confederation approached expansion. For the first time in thousands of years, a pre-interstellar civilization had successfully demanded equal treatment and received it. As the Confederation fleet prepared to depart, leaving behind diplomatic representatives and cultural exchange specialists, Captain Vore approached Dr. Rice. Your species continues to surprise me, the captain admitted. In 17 first contact missions, I've never encountered such determination. Dr. Rice smiled. Humanity has always been stubborn. It's both our greatest flaw and our greatest strength. The Directorate believes your approach to technology, particularly the phase shift principles, may offer new directions for Confederation science, Captain Vore continued. They speak of mutually beneficial collaboration now, rather than integration. That's all we ever wanted, Dr. Rice replied. A seat at the table, not a place in the menu. As Earth entered a new era as part of a larger galactic community, humanity maintained what they had fought for, their independence, their culture, and their right to determine their own future. And throughout the Confederation, ripples of change began to spread as other member species observed the unprecedented arrangements made with these newcomers called humans. The integration protocols that had remained unchanged for millennia were suddenly being questioned. Cultural preservation initiatives gained support, and on worlds long since absorbed into the Confederation uniformity, people began to remember who they had been before. All because one species refused to compromise on what mattered most.